Meeting come to order, please. Roll call, press your present button, please. Record it. Well, I guess we will. Staff announcements.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We have a number of announcements. First announcement is that Plan Update Group are meeting this coming Monday, April 15, 5:30 at the library, and you are all certainly welcome to attend. Second in line of meetings, the Greater Nashville Regional Council and Nashville Area MPO will be having on Tuesday, April 30th, a meeting. They're going to be launching the South Corridor Transportation Study. Major focus on that is to study different transit options in the South Corridor, that being the I-65 corridor, but they're also going to be looking at other major projects. It's going to be a walk-in type of meeting, so there won't be a presentation. There'll be different areas for folks to come in and take a look at it. And if y'all have some time to come take a look at it, I think it'd be a really good idea. Secondly, we have a number of revised staff reports concerning item 13, 14, and 15. And please associate that with your agenda. Finally, we do have a request for a non-agenda item that would concern Clovercroft Preserve Section 2. It came to our attention that we had saddled them with a landscaping bond when the project was approved last August. It turns out that that was not required landscaping. We'd like to correct the record and remove that bond if we can. And finally, I just want to point out, there is another business item. It's a discussion of the Williamson County zoning ordinance amendment regarding decibel measurement standards. And we can speak to that when we get there, but it was a little out of order, so I wanted to make sure that y'all were aware that was heading your way. Other than that, I think I have all of them covered.
Thank you, sir. Without objection, we'll add the non-agenda item as item 19. That if anybody have a problem, be item 19, the Clovercroft project that we just mentioned. Next on the agenda is consideration of the minutes. Any corrections? I hear none. Motion? Second? Thank you. Motion made and seconded. Prepare to vote. Vote now. Well, there we go. Well, I can't get it to do anything.
You got it. Oh, no. Yeah, you got it.
Record it.
Oh, we didn't have Don.
No, we're still waiting on Don.
Okay, there we go.
My bad. Motion carries. Thank you. Consideration of the consent agenda. Anyone on the commission wishing to pull an item for separate discussion, please say so now. Otherwise, we'll take it as a whole. Anyone? Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll begin with item 3. Falls Grove Section 1 maintenance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $290,000. Recommendation extended current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 4, Farms at Clovercroft Section 3 performance bond for wastewater collection system, $116,000. Recommendation extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Item 5, Hart's Landmark performance bond for landscaping, $110,600. Recommendation reduced to maintenance, the amount of $33,200 for a period of 6 months. Item 6, McDaniel Farms, Section 1, performance bond for landscaping, $190,300. Recommendation reduced to maintenance in the amount of $57,100 for a period of 6 months. Item 7, Sycamore Farms Event Center, performance bond for landscaping, $3,780. Recommendation, release the bond. Item 8, The Grove, performance bond for wastewater collection system, $20,200. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 6 months. Excuse me. Item 9, The Grove, Section 9, performance bond for wastewater collection system, $166,200. Recommendation, renewing current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 10, Hideaway at Arrington, Section 2, maintenance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $567,000. Recommendation, extend in current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 11, Troubadour, Section 3, maintenance bond for roads, drainage, and erosion control, $350,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 1 year. Item 12, Weatherford Estates, performance bond for roads, drainage, erosion control, $200,000. Recommendation, extended current amount for a period of 1 year.
Thank you, sir. Motion on consent. Motion made and seconded. Prepare to vote. Vote now. I cannot get this thing to work. Ed, we need you to do it again. Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you. Now to the agenda item 13, non-residential site plan review for Central East Middle School on 35 acres located off of Henpeck Lane in the 2nd voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am reading from a revised report that's on your desks in front of you. Additionally, the referenced attachment 13-3 is also on your desks in front of you as well. The applicant is requesting approval of an approximately 197,000 square foot, 2-story middle school. Property in question is 35 acres in size and is located on Henpeck Lane, approximately 3/10 of a mile west of the intersection of Lewisburg Pike. Henpeck Lane was reclassified as a collector road in the major thoroughfare plan at the March 2019 meeting. Oakwood Elementary is located directly to the east of the property in question, and Durham Manor subdivision is located to the north. Other adjoining properties range in size from 1.3 acres to over 20 acres and are used for either residential or agricultural purposes. As the property is located within the City of Franklin's urban growth boundary, a copy of the site plan was shared with the city, and at the time of this writing, no comments have been received. Water service is provided by HB&TS Utility District, and the City of Franklin will provide sewer service to the proposed use. According to the site plan, there will be 2 access points to the site. The Williamson County Highway Department has reviewed and approved the location of these access points. The county's traffic consultant has reviewed the traffic impact study submitted by the applicant and has recommended approval from a traffic standpoint contingent upon the applicant making a number of roadway improvements. Improvements on Henpeck Lane include installing flash and warning beacons as well as constructing an eastbound left turn lane at each of the site's access points. Improvements at the intersection of Lewisburg Pike and Henpeck Lane include the installation of a traffic signal and the extension of the northbound left turn lane. All improvements are to be completed prior to the school's opening. Additionally, a southbound right turn lane will be constructed at this intersection. Unless the acquisition of additional right-of-way is necessary, this improvement will also need to be completed prior to the school's opening. All zoning ordinance requirements have been met, including the specific requirements associated with educational facilities. The submitted landscaping plan has been reviewed and approved by staff. Site plan is in order, and staff recommends approval subject to the following. Number 1, unless otherwise specified in the recommendation letter from the county's traffic consultant, all off-site roadway improvements specified in said letter must be constructed prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the school. Number 2, prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the school, the applicant shall provide evidence the school is being served by the City of Franklin sewer system. Number 3, execution of a stormwater maintenance agreement and submission of an operation and maintenance plan for stormwater improvements. Submittal to and approval by the county engineer for stormwater calculations and the grading and drainage plan prior to issuance of a land disturbance permit. And number 5, all signage must be approved per ordinance requirements.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? You are, sir?
I am Enoch Jarrell with Huddleston Steel Engineering, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about this project, if you'll allow me.
A little.
All right. I'm the civil engineer for the project. Also with me tonight is Mr. Kevin Fortney, Director of Facilities and Construction, the architect, Mr. Mark Klein, with Klein Sweeney Architects, Mr. Rich Phillips with R.G. Phillips that did the traffic study for this project. It's 1,000 students on Henpeck Lane. The school is just west of the current Oakview Elementary School. The traffic study recommended that we have 137 on-site spaces, queuing spaces for stacking of cars. We provided 144, so we've addressed that comment. Mr. Holmes mentioned some traffic improvements that need to be made to Henpeck Lane, and we've accommodated those on the site plan. We will have a fire access loop around the school with 4 fire hydrants. HPDS has plenty of adequate water supply for that, so we're going to accommodate that. The landscaping, as Mr. Holmes mentioned, we meet the ordinance, but we're buffering to the west side, which is residential. The rear, the north side of this property is also residential. Durham Manor, a lot of the existing landscaping will remain, and we're enhancing that buffer where needed to meet the ordinance in that respect. We do have landscaping along Henpeck Lane to screen the parking lots from the road, and then the driveways. The stormwater itself will be handled in a bioretention area for the school and the parking areas out front. There will be sports fields at the rear of the school. They're not lighted, so there won't be any overhead lighting affecting any of the neighbors around that. But the stormwater from the sports fields will go to an existing pond that is not jurisdictional. There's a little tributary to 5 Mile Creek on this property that everything does drain into before it goes under Henpeck Lane. I really don't have any other comments other than we agree with the staff's recommendations. We don't have any issues with the 5 recommendations that the staff has brought out. And myself or anyone else here would be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Questions of our engineer? Comments? Thoughts? Don?
Another question on it. It says the acquisition of right-of-way. When will you know about if a right-of-way acquisition is necessary?
We will have surveyed the property first, and then we'll have to get into design of the roadway improvements, and then it's a state route, Lewisburg Highway state route, so we'll have to work with the state. So that could take a year to get the design and approval of TDOT. So it could take longer than getting the school built to find out, to get that all designed and approved through TDOT, because the TDOT's what slows us down on that. So it could take a while.
So more than likely that won't be done before the school is built.
More than likely, that won't be done if we have to acquire right-of-way. If we don't have to acquire right-of-way, the timing could be pretty close.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
What was the traffic study about the lights at the end of both ends of Henpeck? How did?
Traffic study indicated that. And Rich, if you want to jump in there, let me know. But they indicated that signals are needed today. But I'll let Rich sort of address that.
My name is Rich Phillips, R.G. Phillips Consulting, and we did the traffic study for the project. And so to answer the question, in terms of the traffic signals, both ends of the Henpeck Lane, Henpeck and Lewisburg Pike, and Henpeck and Columbia Pike, the existing traffic volumes satisfy traffic signal warrants, which means that's the minimum conditions that's required that allow for the installation of a traffic signal. It doesn't mean you have to put one in. It just means that it meets the level that would allow one to be put in.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else talk to the traffic consultant? Pete?
Now, there is a traffic light required at Lewisburg Park, right?
Say again?
Yes. The traffic signal required at Lewisburg.
Lewisburg and Henpeck.
All right.
Yes, sir.
The county school boards have a meeting upstairs now about rezoning. what if students from Columbia Pike area are rezoned to this school? Won't that cause problems on the Columbian side of Hindenburg Lane too? Right now, they're not zoned that way, but if there's some change in the zoning.
Well, Mr. Fortney could probably speak to it better than I have, but I'll give you a quick start. They have not zoned for this school at this time. Is that correct, Kevin?
That's correct. Good evening. I'm Kevin Fortney, Director of Facilities for the school district. The zoning hasn't been established. That won't be established until probably the first part of next school year. Our basic thoughts is that everything will come from the Oakview enrollment, with a little bit coming over from the east side of I-65. Okay, so it would include, trying to remember the name of that new subdivision that's over there, but there's a small section that it may include that. I can't speak to zoning at the present time. Again, it hasn't been zoned, but it's primarily going to serve most of the Oakview students, and then it'll serve some of them that are on the Oakview students that are on the east side of I-65, that they'll be, going up to the new middle school. Currently, that group goes down to Page. Okay, so until they get it finalized on, I don't normally address zoning issues, but I think it's minimal, the number that are coming from the east side. But we have agreed to do that traffic signal at Henpeck and Lewisburg Pike. And we'll get that in as quickly as we can. The only thing about the right-of-way acquisition, it's just a matter of negotiating those properties if we have to gain that.
Any more questions, Mr. Forney? Anyone? Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Other comments? Thoughts? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. Vote now. Does this thing need a battery? Or an operator? I got one more.
It's you.
I pressed this thing to my thumb sore. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 14, non-residential site plan review for Hardeman Springs Amenity Center on 78.64 acres located off Murfreesboro Road in the 7th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I am reading from a revised report that has been placed on your desks in front of you. The applicant is requesting approval for the Hardeman Springs Subdivision Amenity Center. Pursuant to Section 11.03D8 of the zoning ordinance, site plan must be reviewed by the Planning Commission at a public meeting. The applicant has requested action on this item be deferred until the May 2019 meeting. Staff concurs with this request.
Thank you. Motion to defer. Motion made and seconded. Prepare to vote. Vote now.
You got it.
Record it. The motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 15, preliminary plat review for McDaniel Estates, Phase 3, containing 42 lots on 16.46 acres located off McDaniel Road in the 5th voting district.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I'm reading from a revised report that was placed on your desks in front of you. A concept plan for this development was approved at the February 2017 meeting. The applicant is now requesting preliminary plat approval for the third phase of the development, which consists of 42 lots. The applicant has requested action on this item be deferred until the May 2019 meeting to allow additional time to acquire the rights-of-way and/or easements necessary to construct the required off-site roadway improvements. Staff concurs with this request.
Thank you, sir. Motion to defer. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. Record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 16, if I can find it. Final plat review for the Cliffs at Garrison Creek, LLC, large lot easement subdivision containing 5 lots on 45.99 acres located off of Garrison Road in the 9th voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subject property is approximately 46 acres in size and is located off Garrison Road, approximately 2/5 of a mile west of Peach Hollow Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create 5 lots off a new 50-foot ingress-egress utilities easement. At this time, the applicant is requesting deferral to the May 2019 meeting to allow more time to resolve some geotechnical issues. Staff concurs with this request.
Motion to defer. We're moving right along on deferrals. Was there a second? I didn't hear it. Thank you. Prepare to vote. Vote now. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 17, final plat review for Sloan subdivision, large lot easement subdivision containing 2 lots on 10.01 acres located off of Bethesda Road in the 2nd voting district. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The property in question is approximately 10 acres in size and is located off Bethesda Road, approximately 1/2 mile south of J.D. Bennett Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a large lot easement subdivision in order to create the 2nd and 3rd lots off an existing ingress-egress utilities easement, which is being widened to 50 feet. The site slopes downward from the northeast and southwest to a narrow valley with a flat area at the southern end of the development. The site is also mostly open with pockets of wooded areas. All zoning ordinance requirements, including those regarding the protection of natural resources, have been met. The applicant is proposing individual septic systems for the lots, and the Williamson County Department of Sewage Disposal Management has approved the request. Water will be provided by the HB and TS Utility District. As no fire hydrants are proposed and as none are currently located within 500 feet of the building envelopes have been separated by 200 feet. The plat is in order and staff recommends approval.
Thank you, sir. Questions of staff? Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Prepare to vote. Vote now. Record it. Motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item 18, amendment to the Article 23 of the Williamson County zoning ordinance regarding decibel measurement standards. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the March meeting, action on this item was deferred at staff's request so that additional research regarding this issue can be conducted. The county is working with an outside consultant to review current standards and recommend potential changes in order to address concerns recently expressed by commission members. At this time, staff is withdrawing this pending amendment and will bring it back before the Planning Commission following completion of the consultant's work. Therefore, no action is needed at this time.
Thank you, ma'am. Last, the non-agenda item is Clovecroft Preserve, Section 2. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the August 2018 meeting, this body granted approval of this final plat with the posting of a performance bond in the amount of $15,400 for landscape improvements based on the landscaping plan that was submitted by the applicant. Following the approval of this plat, staff was made aware that landscaping improvements were not necessary. The applicant submitted a revised landscaping plan in February, and staff is now recommending the bond be released. Staff reviewed the revised landscaping plan and confirmed that the existing conditions meet landscaping requirements. Staff recommends this bond be released.
Motion to release the bond. 3 seconds. We're going good. Prepare to vote. Vote now. Record it. Motion carries. A motion to adjourn. Y'all want to stay here? Thank you. We are adjourned.